Gloves here in our band Thriller. That was from a performance we put on outside under our sails about 2 months ago. And, it was sort of a little sample concert. We had our full-fledged concert in our cafeteria just before the winter break. Welcome everyone to the Howard Bishop Middle School Academy for Technology and Advanced Studies Open House. As I'll say again later on in the video announcement, we're really hoping to have everybody out here live and in person and showing off our wonderful new school, but circumstances with coronavirus dictated that we should do this, be smart and do this online in a virtual performance once again. So this is where we are, and please, we had to quickly pivot from getting ready for an in-person open house to this virtual open house. So if there's any glitches, please bear with us. One thing I noticed right away is normally I have excellent lighting for Zoom meetings because my office window faces to the south and have the sun on my face, but I haven't done a Zoom meeting at night in the dark here, so the picture isn't so great. Again, we thank you for tuning in here tonight, and if you know anybody that is not available, please rest assured that this is being recorded and it will be shared. So right now, we'll go to our recorded video to show you more about our school. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to the Howard Bishop Middle School Academy for Technology and Advanced Studies Magnet Open House. I'm Mike Gamble, principal, and thank you for tuning in to us. We were really hoping to be able to show off our brand new school in person with a back to normal in-person open house, something I always enjoy doing. But as we've been saying for almost 2 years now, coronavirus gets the last word. So just a couple days ago, we quickly had to pivot for planning for an in-person open house with our cafeteria packed with people and families, and now we're back to doing it online once again. So please bear with us if there's any little glitches or something doesn't go quite as smoothly as you would expect from a tech magnet, as these things take time to put together, and we're all working real hard to get it done to show off our best side for you. Again, we're going to take a little video tour of our new campus and some of our new buildings. So thank you all again for tuning in. And this is something I say at every open house. We want Howard Bishop to be the place you want to be for your middle school years. Saying that, and as somebody who has worked at most of the middle schools in the district, you can't go wrong for your middle school experience, all right? We offer some things other schools don't. But any school you go to, you're going to have a high quality education. We pride ourselves in bringing in our 5th graders, and for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, pushing our students and getting them prepared to be and perform at the next level, whether that's 7th grade, 8th grade, or high school, and then of course beyond. So again, thank you very much for joining us, whatever time you're watching, and come on around to see the rest of our school. Thank you. Hello again. Right now we're on the bottom floor of building 33. Behind me down the hall here we have our state-of-the-art computer labs, science classrooms, and a shared science lab, which are all fantastic. We'll get a peek inside those in a minute. And a number of classrooms up and down the hallways here. It is first period. Almost all of our students are in class, as they should be. So let's take a look up and down the halls here. And here we are on the 2nd floor at what is one of my favorite vantage points in our new school, and that's looking out over our mall area. We have our lovely, what we call our sails, our little patio kind of area, provides some nice shade for us at lunchtime. And across the grass there is our kitchen and cafetorium and music area for the buildings. Again, lovely monuments for our new school here.
Right, good. Nor try to hide all the mess. You can see it there in the picture.
Hey there, me again, this time coming to you from inside our fabulous new cafetorium. Behind me there, behind this fabulous tile work with our signature hawk there, are our serving lines. And not only does this building look amazing, we serve amazing food here. The food service for the whole district really has stepped it up this year, and the food, the choices students get every day, delicious, nutritious, good stuff. I'm always finding myself getting drawn over there, seeing what they have, and usually coming over with a little something every day. So Audrey and Alyssa here, after I'm done talking, are going to take a little pan around the cafeteria. Thank you. Hello again, and thank you on behalf of our tremendous faculty and staff here. Thank you for joining us this evening, or whenever you are watching it, because it will be recorded for your convenience. And I'm standing in front of our cafetorium here. It's a bright, beautiful day. We did different shots around the school at different times of the day, and we have absolutely fabulous, what we call severe clear in the aviation lingo. Bright blue skies. We like to spend a lot of time outside here at our lunches. Once the students eat and they can expedite their cleanup, we turn them loose outside to hang out with their friends, run around a little bit. It's a beautiful space to do so. And of course, it makes sense with the coronavirus protocols to be outside as much as possible, which we enjoy being out here. So we hope you all will enjoy it too. And again, remember, our Bishop is the place you want to be. And we'll have our camera ladies, Audrey and Alyssa, take a pan around our ball area here as well. Thank you and good night.
It's back to you, Mr. Gamble.
All right, I hope I'm live once again. Need to make a few more announcements, things I forgot. Most important is that if you have questions, please use the Q&A function that's at the bottom of your screen for the Zoom meeting to ask any questions. We have, pardon me, Mr. Spear and Mr. Reddick will be standing by to answer your questions as fast as you can type them, as quickly as they can type out an answer for you. So do not use the chat function, but again, there's one that says Q&A, should be at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and use that so everyone can see your questions, because other folks probably have the same questions as you do, and therefore they can see all the answers as well. I also need to give a big shout out to our fantastic PTSA. We have a very robust PTSA this year. We have a board that consists of a lot of hard chargers. They're really called force multipliers and are making things happen. Lots of great spiritware, doing things to show the teachers that they're appreciated, luncheons, little gift bag, things like this, and really just making a more positive environment for all of our students here as well. So if you are a Hawk, as we hope you'll be next year, please join our wonderful PTSA. Thank you very much. And our next segment there, we're going to have a video testimony from one of our students, Daniel Dickrell. And if you're a regular pardon me, Gainesville Sun reader, you might recognize Daniel. He was featured in the Sun for a business he started up using some of his skills he learned here at Howard Bishop. So now, please enjoy Daniel's testimony.
Hello, my name is Daniel Dickrell, and I am a 9th grade student at Gainesville High School in the Cambridge program. I attended Howard Bishop for 3 years under the Tech Magnet program. The summer before 6th grade, I got to start my middle school experience early in a band camp with Miss Barris, who made music easy and exciting to learn. Band camp was a fun experience where I met new friends before the school year even began. I participated in band all 3 years of middle school and formed a strong group of friends through that class. Many of us are now in the GHS Hurricane Marching Band. Another thing I really liked about Howard Bishop were its science classes and labs, where the science teachers helped us learn through hands-on experiments similar to how we learned science in high school. In Howard Bishop's technology program, I got to learn a variety of computer-based software skills. Both Mr. Bailey and Mr. Muja were helpful and fun teachers that made entertaining projects for us to learn the software. In 6th grade, I learned how to use and earned industry certification in Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. I use these programs on a regular basis in my high school classes. In 7th and 8th grade, I was able to learn and earn industry certification in Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and Premiere Pro, which centers around editing photos, making computer graphics, and professional videos. In 8th grade, we got to produce and edit the Howard Bishop Morning News using these skills. The technology program allowed me to start my own merchandise company called Stray Styles, where I design and sell items of my own creation. I started the company in 8th grade to help raise money for stray animals. The patterns and designs on the merchandise were all made using the skills I learned from the Howard Bishop technology program. Overall, I really enjoyed my time at Howard Bishop. I made a lot of friends, had great teachers who made an inviting atmosphere, and I learned a lot of skills that are helping me in high school today.
That was a great testimonial from Daniel, and I think Mr. Gamble, you're up with our flipbook presentation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Here and share a screen. Last year, when we had to do a virtual open house for the very first time, one of our teachers created a digital flip book, which gives an overview of the program and lets you know a little more about what we offer and our faculty here at Howard Bishop. This photograph right here shows us our office as it is right now. When I first look at this, it's so sharp and so detailed, it looks like one of those artist renditions, but no, that is an actual photograph of our front office, what you see when you come in here, and just missing our wonderful Miss Cook, who is our receptionist that greets all of our visitors, parents, and students every day. And our motto is the place you want to be. Shoot. Need to change this back. I'm showing the bars, aren't I? Aren't the bars showing there? Let me go to this other slideshow. It was working so well in the practice about 20 minutes ago. Again, this is our flip book, and we will keep this up on our website so you can refer to it whenever you wish. Mr. Spear is our academy coordinator. So if you have questions about the application process after this and what's going on with the process, please direct your questions to Mr. Spear, although all of us can answer them. Currently here at Howard Bishop, we have about 715 students, and we've been on the leading edge of with the other middle schools magnet programs and working to expand our magnet program. As you've heard many times, we have a brand new facility. It's not up to full capacity. We do have some other classrooms that aren't full of students right now. So we still have room to grow, and it's just a question of bringing in more students and getting more teachers to teach the advanced classes. But this is where the district wants us to go, and we are leading the way for this. Currently, I do still believe we'll be looking to take in 132 members for our next year's 6th grade class. All our students do quite well wherever they choose to go, and we have graduates from Howard Bishop that attend all of our high schools and the magnet programs, the IB at Eastside, at Cambridge, at Gainesville High. We have students at Lofton, and of course, over the years, our students have gone on to succeed at every level. Oops, back up there. Let me go to. These are curricula and what students will take in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So what makes us different and makes us a magnet program is that in lieu of a traditional 50-minute reading class, our students take a technology class for each of the 3 years here. These are some of the clubs and sports that can change year to year depending on the needs and wants of our students and whether or not they can find a faculty member to sponsor a club. The sports that are offered that are part of the School Board of Alachua County for intramural middle school sports are volleyball kicks off the year. Today we just started basketball season, and then we have soccer in the spring. Those are both for girls and boys. Those are the sanctioned sports. There are other sports teams that are organized around the school, but they're not sponsored nor endorsed by Alachua County Public Schools. For instance, they have baseball out at Diamond Sports Park and football at the Northwest Boys Club. And of course, can't say it's enough, our new school. Something very exciting, kind of running joke is that Howard Bishop Middle School, we were the poster child for the half-cent sales tax campaign because of our numerous leaky roofs and peeling paint, and just it was an old school. So we were one of the first. Metcalf was also rebuilt, and Idlewild is still under construction, but they're on tap. And it was a tremendous undertaking. We had to keep the school closed down, pack up everything, and move to the swing school over at the fields in between Westwood Middle School and Westside Park. So that's where we spent last year. Wasn't so bad. And then we just had a few weeks to move back and get the school open for the start of this year. And they're still working on the punch list, but we're almost finished with that punch list, some minor items, but we were ready to go with students when we started school on August 10th. Here's your administration. As I'm fond of saying, no place I'd rather be. I started here in 2010. Mr. Spears been with us for a couple of years. Mr. Spears, last assignment was Director of Transportation, which we play that card quite a bit. He still has plenty of connections there with the bus folks. And he's been with the district for a while too. And Mr. Reddick is our other assistant principal. He has a solid middle school background, did a little bit in high school as well. And he's really found his niche here as well. So we're a team that enjoys working together, and we're all happy to serve your children. So our other support folks, we have Miss Davis, who is our media specialist. Miss Anhalt is a guidance counselor that's been with us a couple of years. She interned with us and then was able to turn around and start her career here with us at Howard Bishop. And we were fortunate to bring Miss Musselman on board this year as well. For our deans, we have two really strong and action-packed deans. Ms. Bailey came to us from a high school background. She was a science teacher at Buchholz High School for many years. So it's valuable for our students to have someone like Dean Bailey who knows what they're facing in high school and helps get them ready. And we were fortunate to bring Mr. Dunham on board. He came from out of county last summer, and he's been a fantastic addition to our faculty as well. One of our key features and one of our main clubs is our garden. Back when we were having community input meetings for what the community, what the faculty wanted to see for the new Howard Bishop, one thing that kept coming up was the garden. We got to preserve the garden. We really had a robust garden. That we have two key volunteers that worked hard to get it going and get the soil just right. And of course, that all got plowed under during the construction. So they made a new area for it and spent quite a lot of money in bringing in the proper soil to get our garden going again. So we have these same volunteers back, and we look forward to producing the vegetables that we actually use in our cafeteria too. So we have greens and other things that the students that help grow it, they learn how to cook it. And as I said, a lot of it gets used in our cafeteria. The other big thing that Howard Bishop Middle School has that no other school does is that we are a community partnership school. The CPS is run through the children, no, I don't say Children and Family Services, but the CHS, and it is a true partnership. We partner with the University of Florida, Santa Fe College, and the health department, of course, Alachua County Public Schools, to provide services for students that often teachers do. And the whole idea is to have teachers teaching and let our CPS provide some of the services that students always need, such as mental health counseling, helping them get straight away with medical appointments and eye appointments, things like that, that sometimes we take for granted that all children should have, but they don't. They also provide, they call extended services, what we call after school programs. So our CPS runs that. So we have a solid and large after school program for our middle school students, and mentors and other relationships, and working with our partners as well. So the CPS is a big part of Howard Bishop Middle School. We're fortunate to have them. These are our office hours. We're open every day, and as I said many times, we love talking about our program. So hit us up with any questions. And again, anytime during this presentation tonight, use that Q&A feature there in your Zoom menu to ask questions. And I know they're being answered as we speak. So I'm going to stop sharing now and turn this over to Mr. Bailey and some more teacher presentations.
Alrighty, I am unmuted. I am Miss Nipper. I am the 6th grade math teacher here. I'm also the math competition coach. I've actually answered a couple of the questions in the chat at this point. I was a student here myself at Howard Bishop. I went through the technology magnet and I returned home as soon as I became a teacher. I love it here. And my 6th grade math teacher actually is the reason I'm a math teacher. So it's amazing to be back where it all started for me. Now I also am the math competition coach, and we do the math Olympiad every year. We're actually about on our 3rd. We're about to start our 3rd. And then we also do math counts. So we compete at districts, and we have gone. Well, last year it was kind of weird because of the whole like digital thing, but the year before that we went to state. So that's kind of my presentation about math, but I also want to get you guys a little bit more engaged. So I want to have you guys locate the down at the bottom of the screen, the raise hand little button. So if you guys could click that for me, that would be great. All right. So I see. We have any? Oh, I have 2 raising hands right now. So if everybody could click that raise hand button down at the bottom of your screen, that would be absolutely fantastic. So I can get you guys a little bit more engaged. Oh, raised hands was disabled. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I apologize for that. I did not realize that. So essentially, that's my bad. I'm sorry. So essentially what I wanted to kind of get you guys feedback on and was just kind of what the type of kid, since I came here myself, what type of kid that we get what type of kid does best and is most successful here at Howard Bishop. So first of all, Howard Bishop, the main focus of Howard Bishop obviously is our technology magnet, but also our accelerated and advanced studies. The kids that I feel like do best here are the kids that want to learn, the kids that are always trying to dig deeper, are trying to get to the bottom of every question. So we try to make sure that we are taking those kids and we are helping them learn how to be those type of kids and how to research and how to get those 21st century skills and put that together with the technology to do these amazing research projects. We have amazing, there's a project-based learning that we do in some of our classes as well. So that's just the type of kid that we attract here at Howard Bishop. And we think that your child, if that describes your child, then they will do wonderful here at Howard Bishop.
Thank you, Ms. Nipper. It's an excellent save on the no raised hands. We should have known that ahead of time, but we are going to share something and that looks the same. And I should have coordinated better with Ms. Nipper because she said a lot of the things that I wanted to say. I'm John Bailey. I am the 6th grade Academy team leader, which doesn't mean anything other than I get to speak for everybody at the moment. I wanted to talk about our commitment to our children. And Ms. Nipper talked about the type of children that do very well here. But I wanted to start with the fact that if you send your children to us, that we want to help them bridge the gap between elementary and middle school. We know how hard the transition is, and we want to help them be successful with it because the challenges of middle school clearly are very different from elementary school. We've all worked with, well, I've worked with middle school students for decades, and among all of us, we have over half a century of experience with middle school students, and we're aware of the problems that they're going to have. And although it's very important to you because your child is yours, we wanted you to know that we've had some experience with this, and we've been pretty successful with helping them deal with problems like perfectionism and procrastination, that organization and time management are huge problems, particularly as your life becomes more complex, you have to deal with these problems. And particularly important to me, I really value the fact that the students can become independent individuals. For me, we mean advanced studies, and I put the word agency here because this is really important as far as becoming independent. Is that they believe that they have the power to affect what their present is right now and what their future will become That they're not just being acted upon, but they have the ability to control a lot of their own destiny. We teach them critical thinking first, rather than just acquiring knowledge. We want them to author their own opinions. We want them to design their own solutions. And so many parents and so many students send their children to me and say, my child knows a lot about technology. And usually what that means is they're very good consumers of technology. And the biggest struggle I have is convincing them that there's a lot of details that they have to learn in order to be able to produce technology, to be the creators of technology. So this plays out across the entire curriculum. I'm going to talk about the technology program specifically. Oh, we skipped Miss Nipper and the rest of the teachers. So Ms. Zukas, no, it's my fault. But Ms. Zukas and Ms. Loftus, I wanted to talk about the teachers that teach technology here. I'm going to take my mask off for a second. Most of you can see I no longer look like that. And I really wanted a different picture, but we didn't quite get that together between Thursday and today. So I'm currently, well, you can read for yourself. So it speaks for itself. Also, Daniel Dickrell, our student testimonial, he's a freshman at GHS right now, did an excellent job of introducing both myself and Mr. Mudra. I don't know that he ever had a class with Miss Murray, who is, she teaches the elective classes for the most part, but also is the robotics, the robotics coach, robotics teacher, and has been pretty successful with in the robotics competitions. And more we're trying to introduce coding into the technology program, and Ms. Murray's a key part of that as well. In general, if you're sending your children here, I hope that they're interested in technology because they're going to have a lot of experience with it. In 6th grade, I get the disadvantage of starting with something that's not inherently exciting. Microsoft, nobody gets really excited about it, but they have the tools that really are important. And I think Daniel said this in his testimonial, that Word, PowerPoint, and Excel he uses every day in his high school career. And most of our students will continue on for a post-high school, post-secondary career, and they're going to use all of those skills. Not exciting all by themselves, but the students who come here will get a lot of experience with it. They have the opportunity to earn certification and showing that they're experts with either Word, PowerPoint, or Excel. Or we've started to introduce an alternative because those are adult certifications, and they can demonstrate another way that become certified in word processing spreadsheets or multimedia. In 7th grade, students in general get a little more excited because they get to work with Adobe. And Daniel was very nice. Really, all of his skills that he used to start his program, to start his business, those design skills, those were really Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator skills. And that's the focus of 7th grade. In 8th grade, there's no required academy class for technology, but students have the option to choose among electives. And one of the electives is TV production. And Daniel Dickrell was a star in TV production when he was in my class last year. He could teach me a few things about TV production, although I hope I taught him a few things as well. In the last 4 years, we've earned approximately 2,000 certifications, mostly in Microsoft products and Adobe products. Although increasingly we started using some of the word processing essential spreadsheet essential certifications. Most of them have been from Microsoft and Adobe. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Wynant so she can talk about the science program for just a second. So I need to figure out how to.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chloe Wynant, and I am representing the science department here. So I'm going to put my mask on. I just wanted to say hello to all friends and community members out there watching. Thanks for being with us tonight. So we're going to talk about how we do science and advanced studies. And one of the things that I believe as a scientist is that in order to understand science, you have to do science. So we're going to put our safety goggles on because this is going to be an interactive part of the presentation. And I'm going to invite some of my fellow teachers to come up because in science class, we learn best by collaborating as well. So we're going to be doing science together. And now's the chance for you guys to practice making observations. And one of the things that I really value is making detailed observations, because in order to come up with our own questions in science first, we have to be carefully watching. So you guys can be doing this too. You can be typing in the chat what you're observing and what you think is happening in this demonstration. Here we go. Safety first, I'm pulling my hair back. And here I have a tea bag, and I'm going to cut the top off. And empty the contents, and voila, we have a little paper tube. Can we hit the light? Oh, yeah. Now, Mrs. Dickey already has her safety goggles on, and we're going to ask her to, oops, we can't see. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, so now the time, what do you see happening? Ooh.
Still up there.
I'm
short person.
Don't hurt yourself, Miss Barris.
So not only do we believe in safety first, we believe in cleaning up, and that's what Miss Barris just did. So what we're going to do is we are going to discuss what we just saw happen. And I'm gonna share my, is my screen shared? Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. So,
No, not yet.
is it not happening yet?
Yeah.
Maybe we share the screen.
I shall.
Oh, I thought that was been shared. And
You're on now.
so what we want to know is what we saw happen. So Mrs. Dickey and Ms. Barris are also going to be students today. And what did you see happen? What did you observe?
I observed that it was burning.
It was burning. Can you tell me more details about when it was burning and when it stopped burning?
Absolutely. So like I noticed that when there was about this much left of it is when it took flight. And it was like,
Fascinating. So it took flight?
yes.
Tell me what do you mean? It flew? Can you tell me more details? Like, did it fly?
It sort of floated up into the
It floated up, and then what happened? Did it keep on floating up?
It did. It floated almost all the way up to the ceiling.
Up to the ceiling, and then what did we observe happen?
It slowly
Slowly
came back down.
Slowly stopped.
And then when I tried to grab it, it just went.
And then it disintegrated. So now we want to infer, what do we think is going on? So we're going to use our background knowledge, and from those inferences, we can maybe start coming up with some research questions. So what do you think was happening?
It could have gotten caught in maybe the air conditioning and blew it around.
It got caught in the air conditioning. That's possible.
Then doesn't hot air rise?
Hot air rises. It does. We have a hot air rising, and what do you wonder from that? Like, maybe what could we do differently here? And so at this point, we would like keep coming up with observations and inferences, like, well, how long did it take to burn? And maybe what would happen if we made it a different temperature, or kids would want to like measure different length tubes, and we would experiment with that. And I would let the kids come up with their own questions, design their own methods, give feedback on them, and then run their own experiments and come up with their own conclusions. Because I really think that kids are more invested when they get to do the scientific method. I'm not the one giving them the facts or the procedures. This is not a cookie cutter science department. We want kids figuring it out on their own. And so with that said, I'm going to open it up the floor up to our language arts, because not only do we believe in critical thinking and science, but definitely when it comes to offering our own opinions.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Laura Dickey. I am the advanced language arts teacher. And which one is controlling this? This one?
Yeah.
All right.
They're both.
And I won't take up too much time. So this is what we're doing in language arts. And I've got it sort of set up as a rounding graph where everything sort of influences everything else. We do a lot of reading. Most of our reading is nonfiction, but we do have some fiction stuff in there as well. Most of them are short pieces, which are sort of to prepare them for the standardized testing.
but we're always trying to weave in creative project as well, just because it's interesting. We'll take vocabulary from the reading. We work on comprehension, and not just that comprehension, like the questions that we would have on a standardized test, but we dig a little bit deeper into analysis, making inferences, figuring out motivations for real and fictional characters. We do a lot of writing in language arts. We're writing something, sometimes 2 things at a time. We'll be working on 2 different projects. And the writing projects usually are stretched out over a period of time because we're doing a draft, then we'll exchange papers and do a peer review and give feedback to each other. And then we revise based on that feedback. And we're also, of course, working on grammar, like parts of speech, parts of the sentence, and other writing conventions, such as what needs to be capitalized, where do you put punctuation in a sentence, all of those good things. But it sounds a little dry when you put it like that. So I wanted to show you something that was a really creative project that I did with the students last year. Poetry slam. If you don't know what slam poetry is, it's a spoken word art form. And the kids kind of got inspired. I showed them a couple of videos of kids their age competing in a poetry slam competition, where it sounds a lot like hip hop or maybe rap, but there's no music behind it. It's more of a spoken word, and you're creating the rhythm with your speech. And so I had them, we performed a lot of these pieces. And unfortunately, I don't have any video of the kids performing, but I do have a couple of their pieces. And I'm just going to give you a few minutes to glance at these. I was really impressed with their work. I think the kids really, even kids that struggled with writing, really got into this project. They really got on fire for it. And I'm going to go through these really quickly. I mean, a 6th grader wrote this, which I think is an amazing piece of work. I also let them collaborate on some of these poems too. I think actually, now that I look at this, I think this was a collaboration between 2 students. And then I'll go to the next one here. This is another one. This one is a great example to show. You can almost feel that cadence in the speech that this young writer was putting in there. She did a great job rhyming and making an excellent point. So we do stuff in language arts that's preparing for the standardized tests, but that's not all we do. We do a lot of fun, creative stuff too, and I kind of mix it up every year. Okay, and I guess that's me. Next slide. And we will talk to Ms. Ogle.
Hi, good evening. I am Miss Ogle and I teach world history. I want to share a little bit about my class with you. In world history, we focus on hands-on curriculum and project-based learning. In my class, students do a variety of activities, including many different cultural learning centers. I also put a special focus on political and cultural geography, because I think if students are going to connect to the past, they need to understand some of the present day culture and history. I also think it's important for them to get a better understanding of the world. In my class, we work on building community, and I look forward to your child being part of our Howard Bishop community. I have the pleasure of introducing Miss Barris, who is our amazing band director. So I look forward to seeing you and your children at Howard Bishop.
I'm going to take my mask off very briefly so that you can see my face, because it's a little bit different, like others have said in the screen. But I am Amy Barris. I'm the band director here at Howard Bishop, and I represent all of our elective teachers. We have a very wide variety of elective classes that students can choose from. In addition to band, we also have chorus, we have theater, we have Spanish, we have PE, we have the AVID program, We offer art, we offer robotics, and we offer coding and keyboarding, not to be confused with piano keyboard, but typing keyboard. This one. What we want you to understand about the elective classes is that, number one, they are just as vital a part of your child's education as any other class that we take. There's a place for everyone. There is something for everyone to choose from. As far as my program is concerned, we do have a summer program. So if your child is not necessarily musically inclined, or they don't have very much experience with it and they want to see what it's like, that's a great opportunity for them. And there should be the summer program information on our Magnet program website. And if it's not there, we will get it there ASAP. I think that I speak for all of my colleagues in the elective classes that we all have very high standards, but we also all have supports in place to assist all of our students to reach those high standards. So students are not going to be left in the dust. We will be there every step of the way to help them be as successful as they wish to be. For those of our elective classes that have a financial component involved, for example, band, we have assistance available, so that financial reasons should never be something that would prevent your child from participating. If they want to learn how to play an instrument, if they want to learn how to sing, act, draw, paint, whatever, we will find a way to make that happen for them. We are also very, very fortunate with our new school that we have some top quality equipment in all of our elective programs. I know that I stress with my students all the time that we probably have better equipment in our band room than most of the high school band rooms have in our district. Something that sets us apart from other programs, again, in my class, the students get weekly instruction from professional musicians that play their specific instrument in addition to the regular class time. And I don't think that this is available in any of our other middle school programs, to my knowledge. We have students that are learning from local music professors, local community musicians, professional orchestral players, and thanks to the technology of Zoom, we even have some of our students this year learning from musicians that play in the Disneyland band all the way in California. So we're using the technology component in music as well. So hopefully you will see that Howard Bishop has lots and lots of things to offer. And we hope that Howard Bishop is the place that you'd like to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Barris. And I think that's the end of our scheduled part for Meet the Teachers. So I think we're back to Mr. Gamble.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Bailey. And it was wonderful. Love that teabag experiment with Dr. Wynant. And there was one question that was asked in the Q&A was that, do we get to do lots of hands-on stuff? And that is an emphatic yes, is the answer to that question. Yes, yes, we do. We have outstanding science teachers here at Howard Bishop, and Dr. Wynant is just one of them. Across the board, our science is outstanding. Howard Bishop used to be known as the Academy for Science and Technology, and it's funny how things that get established a long time ago still seem to, people cling to them, in that our science classes really aren't any different. We have one 50-minute science class a day for our students, but what makes the difference is our outstanding science teachers that we have in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They are very imaginative, hardworking, and they collaborate on a lot of really cool projects across the board. At this time, I'm going to turn things over to Ms. Neal from the district, and Ms. Neal will inform you about the application process and how it works. And the big thing to remember is the application deadline at when that's coming up in February. So don't miss the deadline and pay attention to what Ms. Neal has to say. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gamble. This is John Green. I'll be sharing that information tonight instead of Ms. Neal. No worries. You can find this slide in its entirety at www.sbac.edu/magnets. I just want to highlight a couple of things about the information for the application. One important thing to recognize is that schools get to select 75% of the applicants. The other 25% will be selected by the lottery process. One important thing that you want to make sure you're doing when you are completing your application is to be sure that you priority rank the choice of your magnets, one being the one that you want most to go to, 2, and then 3. For the middle schools, you can select 3 choices. Applicants will be able to, one unique thing about this year, applicants will be able to upload 2 files, and files can contain multiple docs, links, etc., containing additional information about the to highlight personal accolades and strength to show the school your fit. Video formats are not accepted, but you are able to link a video in one of those files that you upload. Please note again, the reason for priority ranking is because the lottery runs in the order of your preference. So if you are selected for any other choice other than your number 1 choice, you will still run in the lottery and may be accepted or placed based on the lottery. So that's important to keep in mind. So make sure, again, you rank your programs in the order that you want to attend them. You can change these orders, but you can make no changes after the 4 p.m. deadline on February 11th. Again, our application opened today. It will close February 11th at 4 p.m. Enrolling admissions will be as seats come available through the summer and through the first 15 days of the 22-23 school year. Please know the following, following the acceptance in your program, you may remain on the wait list for higher ranked preferences. Again, this is why the priority ranking is important. But after June 30th, no changes will be made between programs. Students are not accepted will remain on the wait list through the first 15 days of the 2022-23 school year. And please know that late application entries will only be processed for programs with available seats after all on-time applications have been processed and are placed. Transportation, magnet transportation to magnet programs usually include satellite stops, and these stops are typically located at your elementary school, but transportation works throughout the summer on that. You can check with them. You can check their website for more information. Please note that after the application, seat offerings are acceptance. Students must continue to meet the initial eligibility requirements or their seat in the program may be revoked. So just because you get accepted to a magnet program, you still need to continue to perform as you were performing leading up to that acceptance. Each magnet academy may have additional application process or additional requirements to remain in good standing. So please check with those magnets that you are applying to. And for any questions that may have not been answered, you can always feel free to email alachua@gm.sbac.edu, or you can call 352-955-7622. For specific school programs, please contact your schools. Again, I just want to highlight the fact and the importance of your priority ranking when you are submitting your application. And I will turn it back over to Mr. Gamble.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Green, and my apologies. We had a program written up ahead of time, and it's going to be Miss Neal. And just before this started, Ms. Neal says, no, Mr. Green was going to handle that aspect, and I forgot. So apologize. My apologies to Mr. Green. And one thing I always say too is if you get placed on a waiting list, please do not despair. It's gotten a lot better with the district handling it and with the ranking positions where you get to rank your choices, and that helps out a lot. What happens is the top students from all our elementary schools, they're going to apply for well, all the magnet programs, or at least if not all of them, several. So we're going to offer invitations to the top students. And it stands to reason that not everyone is going to choose to, my alarm trying to lock up the chickens. Time to, as I said, lock up the chickens. Anyway, back to the waiting list thing. Sorry about that. What happens is students that, if they get told they're put on the waiting list, they might think, oh, you know what, they don't really want me. We do want you. Again, we're limited to 132 students, and I'll calculate, what's the 75% of that, around 80, something like that. But with the introduction that they started last year of you choosing your preference for middle schools, it really helps to shorten our waiting list and make sure we get everybody that wants to come here on the first go around. Now, I would like to offer more seats. We hate to keep anybody waiting on pins and needles. But if you want to come to Howard Bishop and for some reason get placed on the waiting list, please don't despair. Contact us. Let us know your intentions. But before you submit that application, make sure you have your rankings in the order that you really want and that they are correct. Saying that, then, I think that's all we have for our presentations tonight. Once again, we thank you for your time. Mistakes I made in my PowerPoint thing, shouldn't have a little sidebar, didn't double click it. And
on behalf of our fantastic faculty here at Howard Bishop, thank you again for tuning in, and we hope we can make Howard Bishop the place you want to be for middle school. Thank you.